Guys, it's Monday and it's beginning of the week for we that are Forex traders. And every Monday I try as much as possible to give you guys a breakdown, a smart money breakdown, from the weekly time frame down to the 15 minutes time frame, where you could can possibly see a clearer entry or setup. And should you decide to take trades for any week at all, you have an insight of what to be looking out for. So today I'm going to be taking you guys on three major pairs, ranging from GBPUSD, XAUUSD, and GBPJPY. Three major pairs. We're going to try as much as possible to be snappy on the analysis, starting from the weekly time frame, starting from the relevant areas on these different time frames we're going to be looking at. So starting with the first one, GBPUSD, from what you can see on my screen, is a weekly time frame. So this is the most important area I want you guys to pay attention to, okay? This is the most relevant area because this is a weekly time frame. So the first thing we need to establish is the trend, okay? And so far so good. This is the trend of GBPUSD. It's bullish. And how you can know it's bullish is when you see a continuation trend, when you see break of structures, all right, then you can possibly understand the trend properly. Now see what I'm seeing on my chart. This is the kind of overall break of structure, okay, on the weekly time frame, the overall break of structure. And this overall break of structure introduced an order block and fair value gap. So in other words, we can say that the order block and fair value gap, which we're currently seeing on our screen, was what actually caused the break of structure. So let me quickly show you guys what I mean. Now, I can cite an order block here, all right? And there's also an inefficiency and a very huge order block here, which was initiated, which actually caused this break of structure. So we're going to map out the relevant order blocks, even the one the price has mitigated and the ones unmitigated. So let's mark that out quickly. So currently we draw two, right? Extend it to the relevant area. So this is the first order block we have on GBPUSD. So this order block has been mitigated, okay? But it's necessary we just map it out. You can see this area. Price tapped into it a little. So look out for the other areas where we have other blocks, and we have the overall break of structure like I mapped out earlier. So these other blocks, they've been mitigated, okay? And this one has been mitigated, and this inefficiency has been mitigated. So the overall trend of GBPUSD is bullish. So let's proceed to the daily time frame so we don't waste much time, but we've just been able to establish the trend. So we'll head over to the daily time frame, okay, for clearer understanding of what we're doing. So this other block, we mapped it out on the daily time frame. So we have to refine our entries right away to the relevant areas, okay? So far so good. On the daily time frame, we just have to refine this area. We refine it to the current order block we're seeing here on our chart, and that's this one. So this is the order block we're seeing here, and we have a break of structure immediately at the top. So this break of structure is so important to take note of, because without these break of structures we can't really have a continuation trend. So these break of structures help us understand the movement of the market. Now this break of structure was initiated or caused by the order block and inefficiency. At this point you can see this order block and inefficiency here. So that was what caused this break of structure. Then price is yet to retrace back to this order block. That's this origin, guys, you can see. So we're expecting price to retrace back to this origin, and then we can start looking out for possible buys on the lower time frames. But before that, let's scale over to the lower time frame. That's 4-hour time frame now. So we've been able to establish a level on the daily time frame. So let's push down to the 1 hour time, 4 hour time frame, so don't waste much time, but just pay attention. You get what I'm trying to say, guys. Now this is on the 4 hour time frame. At this point, what we can do is to establish the movement currently happening, to see if we have some other levels. Okay, to see if we have some other levels we can be looking at for. So currently we can see that price already gave us a push to the upside, and a kind of change of character is occurring on the 4 hour time frame. But then let's map out the necessary areas. So on this area we have our order block resting here. There's an order block resting here, but then we're not so sure of the trend currently on the lower time frame. But we just understand the fact that price already gave us a level to look at for, an order block to look at for. All right, that's this order block. So this is the area we're paying attention to. But then there's no break of structure to the upside. So all we have is change of character on the 4 hour time frame. A change of character. This speaks volume. All right, this can help us understand the current trend on the 4 hour time frame. This is what I'm saying, guys. Let me show you what I'm saying. Over here, the break of structure we have is a bearish break of structure. You can see, guys, this is the break of structure we are having. Like, we have a change of character first, and then an order block to the upside, like a kind of, a sell side order block, because the market is a kind of bearish on the 4 hour time frame. So this calls for paying attention on your internal break of structures. Now we have established that GBPUSD is bullish, but then heading over to the 4 hour time frame, we discover that it's bearish. So this is where you need to make sure you pay attention to details on your internal break of structures. So now on the 4 hour time frame, we have to map out the various areas we're looking at. Okay, now price over here, has given us a kind of change of character. You can see this area, very important. Change of character has occurred there, and this change of character was formed out by this origin. You can see this origin, right? So there's an order block resting here and an inefficiency. So this order block was what caused this change of character, consequently giving us a break of structure, overall break of structure. So we're going to map it out. Okay, we're going to map it out. The market on the 4 hour time frame, like I said, is bearish. Okay, so we are going to also remove this order block we mapped out here. You see this one? We're going to remove it, and I'll tell you why. Okay, in two ways. We can look at this in two ways. Okay, now let me refine it a bit more so you guys get to understand what I'm about to show you guys. So over here we have, let me refine it properly. Over here we have, I'm seeing two things here, guys. Two. We have a kind of break of structure to the downside, a bearish break of structure, and then we have an order block, a sell side order block, and a buy side order block. Now this is what I'm trying to say, so you get this picture clearly. Now we have an overall change of character, consequently giving us a break of structure, right, which gave us this order block. There's also a tiny order block at the top here. So we have two order blocks resting here, which I'm going to map out as well. So now there's a clear picture that this is a downtrend, right? Over here, we also have a break of structure, a tiny break of structure over here. So let's take this one out. We take that one out and we stick to the bearish order block. We have two order blocks here, two very important order blocks. So price could react to any of them. So This one is unmitigated. This other block, this first order block is unmitigated. All right. Why the second one has been mitigated. So this is what I'm looking at. This first order block, tiny order block, is unmitigated. Why this one, this order block has been mitigated? You can see the price already tapped into it. And what has given us the confidence to map out these zones is the fact that we have a tiny breaker structure to the downside here. You can see there is a tiny breaker structure here, guys. A tiny breaker structure to the downside. I hope you guys can see this clearly. So this is a bearish move happening on a 4-hour time frame. So we've established a change of character, all right, which was initiated by the two other blocks we have at the top, all right, by the two other blocks. And over here we have a tiny breaker structure. So we should be looking at price after mitigating this other block or this one, pulling down, so kind of breaking this other structure. But for now we have a bearish move. So let's scale down to the 1 hour time frame. Also, we cannot disregard the fact that we have at the top here an order block, so we can as well map it out for clarity sake. So let us map it out so we can be even on everything we're doing. So let's map it out. So this is our current chart. On order block is resting at the top as well. So just for clarity purpose, so we'll scale down to the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, let's see if the areas we've mapped out are still very much relevant. So we're taking the relevant area. So the areas we've mapped out on the 1 hour time frame, they're still relevant to, you know, the same area on the 4 hour time frame. So we don't need to refine those entries. So I'll just explain everything to you guys. Now, on the 1 hour time frame, you can see this other block we mapped out on the 4 hour time frame. You see very much in tune with the movement or the levels we're expecting on the 1 hour time frame. This other block we also mapped out here, you see very much in tune. And this breaker structure, very much in tune. The only area we need to fine tune a bit more is this breaker structure we have here. All right, so let's just fine tune it a bit. So over here as well, we can just reduce this to the relevant areas. Okay, and this other one to the relevant areas. So to say. So now, properly refined. Okay. So guys, what we can do at this point is to take this other block, adjust this other block a bit more to the upside. It's tiny, but it's very relevant. Because price can tap into it. So two other blocks resting there. Now this change of character, we'll just adjust it a bit. We'll take it off and refine it properly. So we can refine the breaker structure we have here. It's tiny, but very important. We mark it out as well. We have a breaker structure here, and we have another one here. Right? So two breaker structures, and these two breaker structures give us other blocks. So over here, nothing else to look out for, apart from the fact that we're waiting for price to actually tap into one of these other blocks and give us a sell movement, okay, to the downside. So we'll scale over to the 30 minutes time frame or the 15 minutes time frame. Let's check out the 30 minutes time frame. Okay, let's see what's going on. Now on the 30 minutes time frame, our entries are still very much, our levels are still very much valid. Still very much valid, guys. our order block still very much intact. Okay, and this is what I mean. This is what I mean. The areas we're looking at for. We're looking at for this order block to be mitigated and this order block as well. The two relevant order blocks, the two most relevant order blocks, so to say. And then our breaker structure is still very much in tune or in line. This order breaker structure is still very much in line. So the only thing we can do here at this point in time is to adjust our order block here. All right, let's adjust it to fit in what we are looking at. Okay, so this order block, in adjusting it, this is what we can possibly see. And this order block has been mitigated by price. This first order block, you can see price already tapped into it. This is the order block I'm talking about. This one has been mitigated by price already. So, but price is here to come to this area. So, but this is the most relevant one. So we can as well look at this as order block 1, order block 2. Now, this order one, we have to take it off. So we're looking at the most relevant order blocks on our chart. So these are the two order blocks. Price already mitigated into the first one. And this is on the 15 minutes time frame. This is on the 30 minutes time frame. So let's just scale down to the 15 minutes time frame to see if we have a possible area we're waiting for price to get to before we can take a buy. Now, on the 15 minutes time frame, what we can do here is refine the breaker structures we have and look out for possible buys or sells. So the overall trend is still bearish. So price already tapped into the first order block. So if we have to take an entry from there, we should be looking at refining these order blocks properly. So we'll just quickly refine this order block and wait for price to tap into it, and then we can possibly have a sell trade. Okay. So let's refine it. Still within the relevant area. Guys, I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're seeing this clearly. So the most relevant order block we should be looking at for, we're taking this first one off, and then we're sticking with this one. This is the most relevant order block, sell side order block. Okay. So we're sticking with this order block. And what can you see on my chart, guys? So this is the most relevant order block, and this is the kind of breaker structure that price is still respecting. So, but price already tapped into this order block from what we can see on our screen. Price already tapped into it. So on the 15 minutes time frame, price tapped into it, and we should be expecting probably, if we want to take a shot, we can decide to take a shot from this area. So you can see price tapped into it a bit. So within this area, price is ranging, and at this point you can decide to take a shot. All right, but today being Monday, the market is not yet stable. But if you have to go for a shot here, you have to be looking at taking a trade from that very area to this point of reversal and having your entry and your stop loss around this area as well. So on this area we have, you can see this is our entry point should we want to take this trade, and this is our point of entry, point of reversal, that is our take profit zone. And then we can have a stop loss. We can have a stop loss, somewhere at the top. Okay, somewhere at the top. So this is a perfect setup that you can possibly look at for. Price already tapped a little into the order block we're looking at for, and then the next thing we should be expecting it's a push to the downside, because obviously we have you can see a bearish movement from our analysis. So this is a perfect setup we should be waiting for. All right, but then this is on GBPUSD. So let's proceed to gold, and then we can look at GBPJPY. This is top down analysis for the week, all right, from the weekly time frame down to the 15 minutes time frame. So let's quickly look at gold. So we are currently on gold. This is our chart. So we head over to the weekly time frame on gold. So let's check out the weekly time frame. So this is what is currently happening on gold, all right, on the weekly time frame. So let's just establish the fact that gold is bullish from what we can see on our screen. Let me clear my chart a bit. So this is the current So now guys, what can you see on our chart? We have a break of structure and an order block to map out. So this is an order block. This is a break of structure rather. This is smart money breakdown, guys. Smart money breakdown. So this is a break of structure we already have here, and then we have an order block resting here. So we're looking at the most relevant areas, guys. So this is what we can establish on the weekly time frame on gold, considering the most relevant area. Okay, so let's head over to the daily time frame, and then we can have a clearer picture of what the movement or the trend is like. Now, this is the area we've mapped out on the weekly time frame. So we have to refine this area. Our break of structure is still very much valid, so we still retain it. And then over here, after the change of character and the break of structure we have at this area, you can see this break of structure. All right, this break of structure is still very much in line with what we're looking for. And then we can refine our levels. So let's quickly refine our levels. So this is where we have another block resting here. We're refining our levels, and then we have to map it out to the most relevant area as well. Okay, so we'll refine it a bit more. So this is the other block we have here. All right, and this break of structure was caused. This break of structure was initiated by the push to the upside that was caused by this other block. Okay, then over here you can see a tiny break of structure at the upside. Gold is definitely bullish, so we have a tiny break of structure here on gold, a tiny break of structure to the upside, and this tiny break of structure, it's not there alone. We have an order block that initiated it, an order block that initiated the break of structure, and that is this order block we are currently looking at. Okay, so we've been able to establish that gold is bullish. We've been able to mark out two major levels, and we have another tiny break of structure to the upside here. All right, and this tiny break of structure is not also alone. There is another order block resting here. All right, this order block is very relevant, very, very relevant. And then what can we see next? We have another tiny break of structure to the upside. This break of structure, and then this break of structure is not alone. All right, it made its way to the upside through this origin. That's this other block we're mapping out. You can see. So far we have tiny break of structures and some other blocks. In all, gold is bullish. So this is on the daily time frame. We scale down to the 4-hour time frame. so we can have a clearer picture as always for our time frame, guys, from the daily. Now these areas we've mapped out, okay, we have to stick to the most relevant level. So we can take this one off, we can adjust this one, so that we can be able to stick to the most relevant area, okay, or we could simply take it off so we can work with what we're seeing on our screen. So we adjust this level to suit the relevant area, and what we can see on our screen right now, is this break of structure to the upside. We have to refine it, all right, to the relevant points we are looking at. Now, with this break of structure here, we only have one relevant area I want us to take a look at. Now, we'll take this area off and then follow this relevant order block. Okay, so there's no order block resting above this area, so we'll just refine it a bit more. Good. So this is the area to look at for. All right, then let's look at any other possible area at the top to see what prices are actually doing. So let me clear my chart. Okay, so this is the most relevant order block we're looking at for. Okay, this is the most relevant area. So it's very relevant because this order block has given us a break of structure and a major break of structure to the upside. So establishing that price is still very much bullish. So at the top side, there's no order block. There's no order block that we can look at for right here, because we don't have any break of structure, no matter how small at the top here. So we'll work with this order block here. Though price has mitigated it, but we still keep looking at what the market could possibly do. So we scale down to the 1 hour time frame for our time frame. Let's see what the market has for us. So this is what we should be expecting this week. Okay, the areas we should be looking at for the price could possibly reverse to. Okay, so we'll refine our entries, or our levels rather, and also map out the most relevant areas that we can see on our chart. So over here we have a break of structure at this point. We have this break of structure here. Okay, we have this break of structure to the upside, and there's also an overall break of structure at the top here. An overall break of structure. Okay, but then this break of structure left us with an order block, which I can see here, and also an inefficiency favor lookup. So this is an order block to look at for the price could possibly react to or retrace to. So this is an order block to look at for. We have a break of structure to the upside, and then this other area we have an inefficiency and a tiny order block there. All right, so let's also map it out. So this is an order block here that the price might come back to. So we pay attention to these two levels, all right, on the 1 hour time frame, and you can see that gold is very, very much bullish. You can see what gold is currently doing. So a broker structure to the upside, we have a an order block resting here, a break of structure to the upside, another order block resting here. Then this order block has been mitigated, okay, and this one is unmitigated. So we ought to be paying attention more to the order blocks that are unmitigated, okay. So but let's scale down to the 30 minutes time frame and we get to understand what we're doing. So we're currently on the 30 minutes time frame. So let's start refining our entries, our levels rather. Okay. Now this order block, we have to refine it to suit what we're looking for. So this order block, like I said, has been mitigated. And we still have a breaker structure to the upside. So then we're going to work with this by refining this breaker structure, refine it to be in line with what we're looking for. So the other block is there. This other one, a tiny breaker structure to the upside. You can see the price already cut across. You can see the price already, cut across this level. So this other block is very much valid, very much valid. Just that the push to the upside and the breaker structure is a tiny one, but we still have to map it out, because without mapping it out, we won't have that confidence to say that the other block is valid. It's tiny but very much relevant. Okay, so what can we possibly see on our chart again? So we take this off so we can refine it properly. We can see that there is a breaker structure to the upside as well, and as price is going bullish, it has also given us another order block to look at for at the top. So let's quickly map it out. Now this is a breaker structure to the upside, okay, and what has price done here? Price has given us an inefficiency and another order block to pay attention to. So this is the order block here, and this is the breaker structure at the top there, and a very tiny order block to look out for. So we have an order block resting here, okay, tiny but very important. So, and this is the most relevant order block that we should be expecting price to react to. Guys, see this order block? This is where we should be expecting price to react to. This order block is still very much active and valid because price is yet to mitigate it. So if we have to look out for a trade this week, especially maybe from tomorrow, all right, we should be expecting price to possibly react to these areas, and you should wait for price patiently to react to them. So we'll scale down to the 15 minutes time frame. Let's see if there's a clearer picture or where one can say, okay, we should be taking a trade from this area. Now on the 15 minutes time frame, we have to stick to the most relevant area. So we're going to remove this order block. Price already mitigated it, so let's take it off. So we have a clearer picture of what we're waiting for. So now you can see what is currently happening on my chart. This is on the 15 minutes time frame on gold, right? You can see a retracement currently happening, and this retracement is going to tap into this order block. All right. Now this order block here also has been mitigated, so we can decide to also take it off. We can decide to take it off and treat this whole area as a support zone. You can treat it as a support zone. Price already tapped into it. You can see price already tapped into it. So what we can do at this point in time is we can just treat that area as a zone that price could possibly react to. But so far so good on the 15 minutes time frame. I think these are the only area. This is the only order block that is yet to be mitigated by price. All right, this order block is yet to be mitigated by price. This area is yet to be mitigated by price. So price is gradually trying to retrace into it. And should you want to take a buy from here, because gold is bullish, should you want to take a buy from here, you have to wait for price and have your entry around this area, just a stop loss to the, to this swing low, or at least to this area. Then you can have your take profit around here. At least we have like 1:3. This is the ideal place to take your take profit, this point of reversal. At this point of reversal. So we have like 1:2 risk to reward ratio, guys. 1:2 risk to reward ratio. So should you want to take this type of trade, all right, it's safe enough from the smart money concept point of view. It's safe enough from my trading plan. So this can just give 1:2. So we move over to the next pair, which is GBPJPY. We've been able to give a smart money breakdown on GBPUSD and on XAUUSD. So we head over to GBPJPY. Then we can call this a day. Okay, let's quickly do that. GBPJPY. So this is GBPJPY, and we head over to the weekly time frame. So this is the weekly time frame. So let's closely look at what is happening on our chart. Okay, let's get to understand what is happening. So far so good. GBPJPY is kind of bearish. The overall trend on the weekly time frame is bearish. Now let's quickly look at the relevant area on GBPJPY to really establish the direction on the trend of this pair. Okay, now let's take this area. Okay, this is the most relevant area we have to look out for. Now what I can see here is GBPJPY is bullish, all right, but price is making a kind of retracement from this level we looked at before. Now price is making a retracement to where we have an inefficiency in order block, but then the overall trend is bullish, and we have this break of structure at the top side, and let's clear our chart. So we have this break of structure here. It's a tiny one, but very relevant. Okay, it's a tiny one, but very, very relevant. Now, what is price currently doing? Now, after this break of structure happened on the weekly time frame, it left us with an order block and a favor lookup at this point. So this order block is very much valid. It's very much valid. So we can extend it to the area where we are looking at. Now this order block has been mitigated by price. So consequently, what we can see is that price is beginning to go bullish and bearish from here. Should this push we're seeing right now cut across this swing high, should this push we're seeing right here cut across this swing high, that means price will keep going bullish. All price needs to do here is to break this structure and keep going bullish. But if price, rejects this area, just tap into this other block and start pushing to the downside, that means price will start going bearish from there, and then you can take advantage of the move and have a sell trade. Meanwhile, let's push down to the daily time frame to have a clearer picture. Now this is the daily time frame. Let's check out the most relevant areas, okay, to see what is currently happening. Now over here we have to refine the entries, or the levels rather. We have a breaker structure here. We have a breaker structure here to the upside. Let's map it out. This structure has been broken already. And then we have an origin that caused the break of structure here. So this order block is important, it's relevant, but we have a gap as well. Now, as at the time the market opened, it gave us a gap at this area, but then this order block is relevant because it's very, very much valid. Okay, we have an inefficiency resting above it. So then we should be looking at price going bearish from here or going bullish. So price already tapped into this area we're looking at on the weekly time frame, but then we should be working with the daily time frame right now. So over here, the break of structure has already been identified and the order block. So we'll be looking at price retracing back to this order block, and then we'll know if we keep having a bullish push to the upside. So let's get down to the 4-hour time frame so we have a clearer picture as well. So on the 4-hour time frame, this is the most relevant area we have to look at for. So we'll take this off for clearer levels to be mapped out. And price is bullish on the 4-hour time frame, guys, you can see. So the overall trend is bullish, and price over here on the 4-hour time frame is still very much bullish. Then let's look at the levels we've mapped out, if they're still very much valid. Now these levels, or this particular level, is still very much valid, so we have to refine it to suit what we're looking at. So we just adjust everything. This is on the 4-hour time frame, guys. So this order block is very active and very valid rather. Now this is the overall break of structure, but we have to just refine it a bit more. So we have structures, this structure broken, overall structure broken here on the 4-hour time frame. So at this point in time, we should be looking at price retracing back to that area, but then we have another break of structure I'm seeing at the top, this tiny break of structure here. Okay, this tiny break of structure. Then let's clear our chart. Let's clear our chart. And let's mark this one out again. I just removed it by mistake. So let's check it. Let's map it out correctly. Okay. So this break of structure we have here, from what I can see on the screen, this break of structure we have here gave us an order block, or rather this origin was what initiated that break of structure we're seeing at the top. So this order block and this favor look up here, all right, initiated this break of structure we're seeing at the upside. So this is what I'm trying to say. Now this break of structure you're seeing here was initiated or caused by the push from this origin. This origin will mean this order block, and this order block is very, very relevant because we have an inefficiency resting here, but price already mitigated this order block, so it's no more valid, it's no more relevant. Okay, but then we have a relevant one still on this side, like this area. So what we can do now is scale down to the 1-hour time frame for clearer picture of what we're looking at. 1-hour time frame, guys. So on the 1-hour time frame, we're going to look at the relevant areas and then refine other levels properly. Now we have the same break of structure respected on the 1-hour time frame. So we're only just going to refine the order block to suit what we are looking at. So we'll refine it. refine our levels, refine the levels properly. So this is the order block properly mapped out. Okay, this order block is very valid because we have this break of structure at the top side, and then we have this inefficiency resting close or side by side with the order block. So it's very valid, but price is yet to come down to that area. Sorry, price already came down to that area, guys. So price already mitigated it, and this is on the 1 hour time frame. So you can see that price is still very much bullish, and should you want to take a trade from the 1 hour time frame, you definitely go bullish from this area. So this area is very relevant, and you can take a buy from this 1 hour time frame should you want to go in as a swing, like you're a swing trader. Now we have another order block resting here. Okay, this is an order block resting here because we have a breaker structure here, important, and we have an order block resting here. There is an order block resting here, okay, which is relevant as well. So we just map it out to the relevant area we're looking at. Okay, so very important. Now let's see if it's clearly mapped out. Okay, so this order block, two order blocks we're expecting price to react to. So price already tapped into the first one, that's this one. Price tapped into it a little and also mitigated the second order block. So we can see that from here, if you decide to take a trade, it's going to work out properly. But then we can do one thing, we can wait for price to retrace back to this first order block properly, because price already just tapped on it, it kind of tipped the tip. So we can as well wait for price to retrace completely back to this first order block, and then we can have a switch ride to the top. But then we scale down to the 15 minutes time frame on the 30 minutes time frame. So let's see what we have. Firstly, on the 30 minutes time frame. Now on 30 minutes time frame, the level is very much relevant. Okay, the level is still very much relevant, and the only thing we can do here is to refine our order block, here. So we'll just wait for price to retrace down into this order block. So we can just wait for price to retrace into this first order block, this order block 1, this order block 2. This order block is no more important. Price already mitigated it, so let's just take it off and work with this one, because price is here to mitigate this one. Okay, price is here to mitigate it, and it's very much valid. It's very valid. So let's wait for price to retrace to this one. Then we scale down to the 15 minutes time frame, where we can possibly have a clearer picture as well. Okay, down to the 15 minutes time frame, so we can call this video a day. It's getting too lengthy, but then this is the weekly breakdown, so it's very much important that we stay on the chart up to this time. Now on the 15 minutes time frame, while we wait for price to retrace back to this order block we have on the 30 minutes time frame, let's possibly see where we can take our trade from. Should we want to take a trade, all right, from the 15 minutes time frame? So let's see. Okay, so for clarity's sake, we can take this trade from the 30 minutes point of view, from the 30 minutes time frame. We can have a clearer picture of what it's like. So if we take this trade from the 30 minutes time frame, we can just wait for price to retrace back, and then we can take the trade. From 30 minutes time frame, then we can adjust our stop loss in such a way that we don't risk so much. So should you want to take a trade from here, you can go long from here. Let's say having your entry from this order block, waiting for price to retrace back to that area. Then we can have our stop loss few pips away. Few pips away. And then we can have a take profit all to the top. Okay. I have a take profit all to the top. It's not so clear, guys, because of the interface I'm using. But then we'll go on a wider screen in shortest possible time. So we should be looking at this kind of trade. Should you want to take an entry or gain an entry on GBPJPY? So this is what we should be looking at. So these are the levels we should be looking at, price retracing back to, or the areas price already respected. So this is a clear top-down analysis, on GBPUSD, XAUUSD, and GBPJPY. So these are the levels and areas you should be expecting price to react to. So this is just to give you a clearer picture of what the week is likely to look like. Okay, this is what you should be expecting, throughout this week. And then we can take an individual pair, analyze them from the daily time frame, and have a clearer entry. But then these are the levels we're expecting price to react to throughout this week. Okay, so I'll call this video a day here. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Come over to my YouTube channel more often for more updates, and join my Telegram community where I share updates and signals, and then we can trade together. Okay, see you again in my next video. Take care for now, and bye.